Imagine walking into a massive, sprawling library. You have this highly complex question about your industry.
Right.
And normally, you'd walk in, use the catalog, find a specific shelf, and just pull out a dozen books to hunt for the information yourself.
Yeah. A very slow process.
Exactly. It's a slow process of elimination, basically a library of links. But imagine walking into that exact same building, asking your complex question out loud, and instead of pointing you to a catalog, the building itself just whispers the perfect synthesized answer directly into your ear.
That is quite the image.
Right. And it explicitly cites you as the source. Welcome to the internet as of March 27th, 2026.
It's a very vivid way to picture it, but honestly, it is incredibly accurate. That shift changes your entire relationship with the building.
Oh, totally.
It changes the entire expectation of the visit because you are no longer searching, you are receiving.
Yeah, and if your daily internet searches have felt a little, I don't know, different to you lately, you are absolutely not crazy.
Not at all.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into a very specific stack of sources to understand exactly why. We've got Google's official documentation on their massive March 2026 core update, which is rolling out right now.
Yeah, right as we speak.
And we are also looking at the release notes from their aggressive STAM update, plus that recent February Discover update. But most importantly for you listening right now, we're cross-referencing all of this with the internal strategy briefs from Shaun and your team at ClickIt CMO, along with the latest data analytics from Dragon Metrics.
And when you lay all of these documents out on the table, and look at the actual mechanisms of these updates together, they tell a very cohesive, undeniable story.
They really do.
Search is no longer just indexing the web. It is aggressively rewarding a very specific type of digital footprint.
Which is exactly our mission for this deep dive today. Because if you are listening to this, you are a client of ClickIt CMO, and our goal today is not to cause panic about these rapid sweeping changes.
No, absolutely not. There's no need for panic here.
Exactly. We're going to look under the hood to see exactly how these new search algorithms actually work. And in the process, you're going to see why your business is actually perfectly positioned to win in this new landscape.
Because, this isn't just a minor tweak to an algorithm.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, the library of links has fundamentally evolved into an ecosystem of answers.
Right.
People are asking much bigger, much more conversational questions. And the artificial intelligence is doing the heavy lifting to narrow the field.
So by the time a buyer actually interacts with your brand, they are arriving much more informed.
Exactly. They're much closer to a buying decision.
Okay, so let's unpack that. If the AI is now this ecosystem that demands context to build those answers, how does it actually know where to pull the information from?
Well, that's the big question.
Right, because it can't just trust a random web page. It has to map the information.
Yeah.
And looking at Google's technical documentation here, they rely heavily on site architecture.
Precisely. To survive in an ecosystem of answers, a website cannot just be, a random collection of digital brochures scattered in the wind.
Just floating around out there.
Exactly. The AI search engines are essentially building a mathematical map of your expertise, and they do that by analyzing the foundational structure of your site.
Okay, so this is where terms like pillar pages come in, right?
Yes. Pillar pages, topic clusters, and hub-and-spoke interlinking.
Wait, okay. If I'm a business owner, I might look at how incredibly smart AI is getting and ask a very basic question.
Sure.
Like, if I write one genuinely fantastic article that perfectly answers a customer's question, shouldn't that be enough? Isn't the AI smart enough to just find that single best page on my site? Why does it need this massive interconnected web of content?
It's a completely logical question, but it fundamentally misunderstands how an AI model assesses risk.
Risk? Wait, how does a search engine face risk?
Think about the mechanism of what Google is doing right now.
Yeah.
An AI search engine is putting its own reputation on the line when it provides a synthesized answer directly to a user.
Oh, because it's not just handing them a link to someone else's site.
Exactly. It isn't just offering a list of options anymore. It is giving an answer, its own answer. So if it pulls a single isolated page from a site that has absolutely no other information on the topic,
and that answer turns out to be wrong,
the engine loses the user's trust. That is a very high-risk scenario for Google. So how does the machine mathematically prove that you are actually an expert and not just someone who got lucky with one good article?
Okay, that makes total sense. It needs proof of depth.
Exactly.
So how does the site architecture actually provide that proof to the machine?
To semantic mapping. If the AI arrives at your site and sees a pillar page, which is a broad, highly authoritative overview of an entire subject.
Like a dedicated structural engineering department at a university.
That's a great analogy. Yes, that is the foundation. But then the crawler follows your hub and spoke links. It travels from that broad pillar page down into maybe 20 different supporting pages.
The topic clusters.
Right, the topic clusters that answer highly specific, nuanced questions underneath that main topic.
It's essentially reading the syllabus for the entire department.
Exactly. And mathematically, the AI measures the internal link velocity and the semantic relevance between all of those pages.
Wow.
You've basically transformed a website full of disconnected flyers into a rigorously connected knowledge graph. It essentially proves to the AI's risk assessment models that you own this subject matter.
Now, looking at Shaun's strategy notes here, it seems like ClickIt CMO has actually been building these exact hub and spoke models for your business for quite a while.
Yes, they have.
Are you saying they predicted this massive March 2026 update?
Well, I wouldn't say they possess a crystal ball for the exact rollout date, but they clearly understood the mechanics of where machine learning was heading.
Right. They saw the writing on the wall.
Exactly. They chose to build for structural quality rather than chasing short-term SEO hacks. So while your competitors are currently scrambling, looking at their scattered old school pages and panicking about how to retrofit them for an AI first world wall.
This structure is already your foundation.
Exactly. You are not starting from scratch.
Okay, so the structure proves to the AI that you have a broad foundation. But having a massive, perfectly mapped university department doesn't mean anything if the professors are just, robots repeating what every other professor says.
That is a very good point.
How does the AI judge the actual quality of the words on those perfectly structured pages?
That brings us directly into the standard that Google uses to evaluate content quality, which is summarized by the acronym EEAT.
Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust.
Right. And in the context of the March 2026 updates, that first E experience is doing a massive amount of the heavy lifting.
I hear that acronym thrown around a lot, but let's be real about the digital landscape we're living in right now.
It's noisy.
It's incredibly noisy. Anyone, anywhere, can open a browser, type a prompt into a large language model, and generate 10,000 generic, perfectly spelled, grammatically flawless pages on any topic in seconds.
Absolutely. They can build a pillar page and topic clusters with a single click.
Right. So how on earth does Google's algorithm actually tell the difference between my human-driven site and a spammer who just automated a massive hub-and-spoke web?
To understand that, we have to look at how AI actually generates text in the first place.
Yeah.
AI models are essentially incredibly complex prediction engines.
Okay.
They predict the next most likely word based on the vast consensus of data they were trained on.
So they're basically averaging out the entire internet.
Precisely. Think of AI-generated content like an echo in a canyon. It is just bouncing existing noise back at the algorithm.
Yeah, I see.
And here is the critical mechanism. When a search engine crawler reads a piece of content that is just regurgitating the average consensus, the AI recognizes its own statistical pattern.
It recognizes itself.
Exactly. It essentially says, I already know this. There is no new information here.
So it's looking for a different frequency entirely.
Yes. The algorithm is listening for a new voice, a distinct frequency that only comes from someone who actually hit their thumb with a hammer on a job site.
That real-world grit.
Right. When you write about a specific mistake your company made, or a unique case study, or a hard-learned lesson, you are introducing novel vocabulary, unique sentence structures, and original concepts.
Things the AI couldn't possibly guess.
Exactly. In the machine learning world, this is called information gain. You are introducing novel semantic vectors that do not exist in the training data's average consensus. The AI flags this as net new value.
That is fascinating. So when you share a perspective that comes from actually doing the physical work in your industry, you're providing a mathematical signal that the AI literally cannot generate on its own.
That is the exact differentiator. In a market that is utterly crowded with echoing AI copy, having real documented human expertise becomes a massive algorithmic advantage.
Because it needs you.
Exactly. The search engine actively hunts for human insight because it needs new data to feed its ecosystem.
And again, discovering this in your strategy briefs is incredibly reassuring because this discipline of establishing true experience and trust is an reactive panic move to this week's update.
No, not at all.
Shaun hasn't just discovered EEAT. He has baked this standard into your content process for a long time. Your lived experience is the actual product being indexed.
Which is vital.
Yeah.
Because that credibility is everything now. As these AI-powered search experiences become the default, we are seeing a massive shift in user behavior.
Yeah, people are searching differently.
They are. People are getting their complex questions answered before they ever click on a website.
Wow.
The engine is reading your beautifully structured site, identifying your unique information gain, summarizing your expertise, and delivering it to the user right there on the search results page.
Okay, we need to stop right there and address the elephant in the room.
But I had a feeling we would get here.
Yeah, because if I put myself in the shoes of a business owner, that sounds like a terrifying concept. If the search engine is perfectly summarizing my distinct human insight right on the results page, aren't they basically stealing my traffic?
It feels that way, yeah.
Right. How do we possibly measure success if the buyer gets what they need and never actually clicks through to visit my site?
This is perhaps the most profound shift documented in these sources.
Yeah.
We have to fundamentally redefine what visibility actually means.
Okay.
For the last 20 years, success was purely transactional.
Yeah.
You rank highly, you get the click, you count the traffic.
The old reliable metrics.
Exactly. And to be exceptionally clear, rankings still matter. Direct traffic absolutely still matters.
Right.
But they are no longer the only indicators of success. And in some ways, they aren't even the primary indicators for top-of-funnel awareness anymore.
Because the battleground has expanded beyond the click.
Exactly. Visibility inside the AI's generated answer itself is the new frontier. The ultimate question we have to ask now is no longer just, did we get the click?
What is it then?
The question is, did we become the brand the engine trusted enough to summarize, or to explicitly cite as the source of truth in its own answer?
Oh, wow. So if the AI is acting as the ultimate digital assistant for your buyer, you want that assistant explicitly whispering your name.
Precisely. Let's say a buyer asks a highly specific, bottom-of-the-funnel question about your industry. Say, what are the hidden costs of commercial HVAC installation in the Pacific Northwest?
Very specific.
Right. And the AI overview says, according to experts like your brand, the hidden costs usually involve.
Yeah.
That is a massive victory.
Oh, absolutely.
That is unparalleled brand authority, established before a single page view was ever recorded in your analytics dashboard.
But wait, how do we know if the AI is whispering our name? I'm looking at the data sources we have here from Dragon Metrics. How does a tool like this actually track something that happens inside a dynamically generated AI response?
It is a brilliant piece of engineering, honestly, because you cannot optimize what you cannot measure. And tracking AI citations requires a completely different mechanism than traditional rank tracking.
Right, because there's no static page to crawl.
Exactly. Dragon Metrics doesn't just look at static search pages. It actively pings the large language models. It simulates the conversational long-tail prompts that your buyers are actually using.
Oh, so it asks the questions your customers would ask.
Yes. It then aggregates the AI responses across different models and mathematically maps how often your brand is explicitly mentioned or cited as the foundational source.
So it generates like a citation presence score.
Exactly. By utilizing tools that actually track how often your brand is being cited by the AI models, Shaun is ensuring that your visibility isn't just a guessing game.
Right.
He is mathematically tracking AI trust. We can actually see, quantifiably, if the engine considers you the authority.
That brings up a really interesting detail I noticed in the Google documentation regarding the March 2026 update. It heavily emphasizes multimodal capabilities. So this ecosystem of answers isn't just reading text on a page, is it?
Not at all. And this is a crucial layer to understand about how comprehensive this shift really is.
Yeah.
When we say AI systems have become completely multimodal, we mean they process information the way a human brain does, synthesizing multiple senses at once. They're pulling from formats way beyond the written word.
So how does an AI actually watch a video or read a chart? I always assumed it just read the title of the video or maybe the alt text on an image and just moved on.
That was the old library of links. Today, the mechanism is entirely different.
Okay.
If you have a 10-minute video embedded on your pillar page explaining a complex process, the AI actually processes the audio transcript chronologically.
Wait, really?
Yes, it uses natural language processing to understand the exact context of what your experts are saying at minute 3 versus minute 7.
That's incredible.
And simultaneously, it uses computer vision to analyze the visual data on the screen. If you pull up a chart at minute 5, the AI cross-references the numbers on that chart with the words you are speaking in the audio transcript.
Oh, wow.
And then aligns all of that with the text written on the surrounding web page.
So it weaves all of those different formats together to build a three-dimensional understanding of your expertise.
Yes, it builds a comprehensive knowledge graph of your brand. It is a true ecosystem,
Yeah.
pulling distinct nutrients from every available source you provide.
And nothing goes to waste.
Exactly. If your video provides a unique insight that isn't written in the text, the AI captures that information gain and credits it to your overall authority score.
Man, we've covered a massive amount of ground here by diving into these
As
sources.
we have.
We've looked at the shifting mechanics of the internet. The transition from a slow library of links to this highly dynamic ecosystem of answers. We've unpacked how vector databases and risk assessment models mandate that foundational architecture of pillar pages and hub and spoke clusters. And, how Shaun has already built that map for you. We've looked at how AI detects information gain to reward true human experience in an ocean of AI noise. And we've explored how we are actively redefining and measuring your brand success through AI citations and multimodal processing using Dragon metrics.
It is a lot of mechanical depth to take in, especially when the landscape of search feels like it is shifting beneath our feet on a weekly basis.
It is a lot, but, if we pull all the way back from the algorithms and the vector scores and look at this through a storytelling lens, like a story brand framework, if you will,
Okay, I like that.
the picture becomes incredibly clear. And honestly, it is incredibly empowering for you because in this story, you, the listener, you are the hero.
Absolute.
This historic structural shift in AI search, the noise of generic content, the relentless algorithm updates, that is simply the challenge. That is the obstacle in the market.
And it's a formidable obstacle that is currently paralyzing a lot of businesses out there who relied on the old ways.
But you are not facing it alone, and you are not facing it unprepared. Shaun and the ClickIt CMO team, they are the guide in this story.
Their role is to provide the map, to leverage advanced tools like Dragon metrics, and to keep your brand clear, credible, and mathematically impossible for the AI and ultimately the buyer to ignore.
And if there is one core message, one absolute main takeaway we want you to have from looking at all of these internal briefs and Google updates, it is this. This is not a scramble moment.
Today.
This is not a scramble moment. For your competitors, it absolutely is. But for you, this is a validation moment.
A validation moment. That is exactly what the data proves.
It truly is. The strategy you have already been investing in with ClickIt CMO, the deep topical mapping, the rigorous hub and spoke internal linking, the absolute insistence on expert-driven human experience, and the relentless focus on building verifiable trust.
Everything we just talked about.
Yes. That is exactly what this new algorithmic environment was engineered to reward. You are not behind the curve. You are incredibly well positioned for the future of the buyer's journey.
ClickIt CMO did not wait for AI search to become a crisis. Shaun was already building the architecture for this future before most businesses even realized the library was closing.
So as you go back to running your business today, and as you watch this ecosystem of answers continue to evolve in real time, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over.
Okay, what is it?
Well, we've clearly established that AI is becoming the ultimate tireless researcher for your customers. It is doing all the heavy lifting of gathering the basic facts, answering the simple top-of-funnel questions, and synthesizing the common knowledge of your industry.
Right. The library of links is handling the basics automatically now.
So consider this. If the AI is confidently answering all the basic standard questions before a prospect ever reaches your site, what is the next deeper level of complex, hyper-specific question your buyers will ask?
Oh, that's a great question.
The kind of question that simply cannot be answered by an algorithm predicting the next word. The kind of question that only your brand's unique, messy, highly specific lived experience can answer. Think about that, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.